Hello parents, Grace here with Amazing Parenting. Today we're going to be talking about what to do if your child refuses to go to school. I'll be right back. Okay, if you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Tick the notification bell so you get all the new videos that are coming out firsthand. And leave a comment below if you've got any questions. If you want me to do a video on a particular area of parenting, I'm happy to do that as well. And also give me a thumbs up in the down below as well. Give me a thumbs up. That would be great. Thank you so much. And to all of you that have already subscribed, I so appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. Okay, let's get straight into today's session. What do you do if your child is refusing to go to school? Now you might think, my child never refuses to go to school. Well, you may know a parent who is struggling in this area. Send them this video. Share this video. Because not all children are waking up bouncing, ready to go to school. There are different reasons why children don't want to go to school. And I'm going to just touch on a few of them in this video. So if it's not for you, please share it. Please feel free to share these videos. Okay. I want to talk first about being preventative. Okay, so when your children are in primary school, don't give your children any reason to stay home. No matter what is going on, your children go to school. They must know that they wake up Monday to Friday and they go to school, and they go to school on time. So first of all, don't even make it an option for your children when they're in primary school that they can have time off, or they can not go to school, or if we're doing something, we can take time off school. No. Make it a must that your children always go to school every day. That's the first and foremost. Okay, that empowers your children to always want to go to school, to know that I can't stay home. It's not even something that they consider because you're empowering them to go to school. Okay, so there's 3 areas that you don't do if your child says they're not going to school. 3 things you don't do. You don't beg, you don't bribe, and you don't pamper. So your child wakes up in the morning and they're telling you, I'm not going to school. You don't beg them, you don't bribe them, and you don't pamper them. Okay? So we're going to go through the areas why they might say they don't want to go to school, and then how do you address that? Okay? So they may wake up in the morning and say, or whatever time they may say, they don't want to go to school because they're being bullied. Okay? So your child wakes up, or they come home from school and say, I'm not going to school tomorrow, they're being bullied. Okay? Take these things that they say seriously. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, you know that they're going to school. Okay? So if your child comes home and say they're being bullied, talk to your child about what does that bullying look like. Have them give you actual scenarios. What has happened? What practical things have happened at school? What has been said? What has been done? That they are describing as being bullied, because sometimes children are being bullied in their heads. It's bullying, and all it is just girls just being silly with each other, boys just being silly with each other, and your child is just taking offense to that. So that's not necessarily being bullied. So you need to hear what is their understanding of bullying. Okay, so let's say they tell you the scenario, what happened at school, and truly they are being bullied. The thing you need to do is speak to school. Schools need to know, teachers need to know, head of years need to know, head of school needs to know that your child is being bullied, and what is the procedures around what then has to take place. So you need to let your child know, okay, I'll take it up with school, I will help you get through this period, but you got to go to school. You can't stay home because of what's happening at school, because you're being bullied. I will help sort school out around what's being done at school around this bullying. Who are these girls? Who are these boys that are bullying you? What's gone on? So you reassure your child around what steps you're going to take as parent around this bullying, but your child is still going to school. Okay? Your child may say they're fearful of going to school. Maybe they've had an argument with their friend and they don't want to face them tomorrow. You sit and you discuss about what the argument was about, why they're fearful in going to school, whatever the reason may be. You talk to them about why they're fearful and how they best need to face these fears and go to school. Always at the back of your mind, they're going to school. Your child might say they want to go to school because of the weather. I know that sounds like, what? Well, what child says they don't want to go to school? It happens. Okay, so again, weather is not a reason to stay home from school. As long as school is open, that they're saying because of the torrential rain, because of the snow, the school is closed, that's different. Of course, your child stays home. But if the school is open, no matter what the weather is, your child goes to school, okay? Your child might not want to go to school because they haven't got the right school uniform. Now, that's a big deal for children. How their friends perceive them is a big deal for children. How they look, how they dress, how they present themselves is very important for children. And if they feel that their school uniform doesn't match the rest of the school, doesn't match the rest of their class, it's going to make them feel uncomfortable going to school. So you might be in a position where you can't afford new school uniform. Maybe they've had a growth spurt and, you know, the trousers are too short and you haven't got the money right now to buy school uniform. Let school know. All schools have a budget, or most schools, and don't let me say all schools, most schools have a budget for school uniform, just to help parents out, that they can have, you know, a pair of trousers that they may have just for a term or a week or to the end of the month. Let school know that, okay, look, my child hasn't got the right jumper. Do you have a spare jumper? And then your child goes to school office and the jumper's there waiting for them. Again, it's not a reason why your child stays home. Same thing with the equipment, not enough pens, pencils. Again, let school know that they haven't got the right working equipment to go to school. So let school know, and school will be able to provide for your child for that day or that week until you're able to buy it. Again, same thing with your child is going to school and they haven't got no dinner money, so they feel like, you know, what they're going to do. Again, you might not have money. I work with all kinds of parents that may not have money every single day to give to their child. Again, let school know. Is it okay if they have school dinner today? Is it okay if they do this today? Because, you know, we're a bit short. You know, school are very good. Majority of schools are very good with helping parents get their children to school and have them sustained at school. Schools are brilliant at doing that. So let your school know. Don't feel that you have to struggle alone when it comes to things, school uniform, dinner money, school dinners, things like that. Let your school know, because provisions can be made and will be made for you. So your child may say they don't want to go to school because the work is too hard. You know, they're struggling in class, you know, with their lessons. I did a video on what to do if your child is not academically, you know, up there. You know, so your child may say, I don't want to go to school because the work is too hard. Again, you would speak to school about, or their class teacher about, what is the work like? Do they need to come down a set and then work their way back up? How can we make the work able for them to do that? They can at least understand the work that they're doing, so it's not too hard for them. So again, speak to their class teacher, their head of year, or if they're, you know, they're in primary school, you know, the head teacher, about their work being too hard, that they're unable to do the work. And when the child comes home, you sit with them and do homework with them. You see where your child is struggling. What is it that they're finding hard in school? Because sometimes children feel like their friends are ahead of them, and then they feel left out, or they feel ashamed, or they feel like, oh, I'm not adequate. So if your child is feeling that their work is too hard and they don't want to go to school because of it, look into what can you do as a parent to make the work easier for them, i.e. you speak to school about bringing them down a set or giving them easier work, and then they work their way up to build their confidence in those particular subjects. Okay, they may say they don't want to go to school because they don't like a particular teacher. Again, it's not a reason not to go to school. Talk to them about it. What is it about the teacher that you don't like? Talk to them about it. But again, it's not a reason why your children don't go to school. Or they may say the teacher doesn't like them. They don't want to go to school because this particular teacher, or there's, you know, all the teachers, they feel that don't like them. Again, talk to them. What does that look like? What is your teacher saying or doing that you think or feel that they don't like you? But it's not a reason why you're not going to school. So talk to them about it. Okay? They may say they don't want to go to school because they haven't got any friends. You know, children that go from year 6 into year 7, from primary school into secondary school, especially if they're going into a school that is not joined to the primary school. So all of their friends that they had in year 6 will be going to the same secondary school as them. So they've joined year 7 and they've got no friends and they're finding it difficult to make friends. Again, it's not a reason why they shouldn't go to school. So talk to them about how they can make friends, what they can do to make friends. Speak to their class teacher about it. Who can they buddy up with in class to be their first friends, or who they can go to lunch with at least. Okay, so again, not having friends is a big deal for children, but it's not a reason why they shouldn't go to school. Okay, they may say they're bored. Some children are bored with school, and that may be because they're not being stimulated. The work they're doing is too easy for them. So they get their work, they finish it in 5 minutes, and then they're just looking around the classroom bored. They're twiddling their thumbs bored. Again, speak to their class teacher, speak to school. They may need to move up a set. They may need to be challenged in particular subjects. So they're not bored. So they're not fussing with their friend. They're not, making noise in class because they finished their work and they're bored. So is it because your child is more academic in that particular subject where they can take on more? They can do more. So speak to school about them going to the next set up, or having more work. If they finish their work quickly or earlier, they have more work. So let the teacher know that they, feel free, give them more work so they're not bored in school. And again, talk to them what that bored looks like. When they're bored, what does that look like? Why are they bored? So with all these areas, you're talking to your children about what is it around you not wanting to go to school. There's conversations that you're having. Okay. Another area they say they may not want to go to school is because they're not allowed to play. So for instance, let me explain. After school, their friends have after school club. They play football, they have extra lessons, they do something. And for whatever reason, you don't allow your child to have after school club. So that may be a reason where they think, well, when end of school comes, all their friends are all together doing something else after school and they haven't got anything to do after school. So again, something for you to talk about, something for you to think about. Why haven't they joined an after school club? Why are they not playing after school games with children? An area you may need to discuss, because until you discuss these things with your children, you're not going to know. You may not know why they don't want to go to school. You may not know the deep meaning behind things. But when you discuss it, when you bring it up, or when they bring it up and you talk about it, it then shines a light on areas that you yourself may need to look at as a mom, as a dad. Oh, okay, I may need to address this. So those are areas that you can look at. Okay, your child may wake up and say they're tired. They don't want to go to school because they're tired. They've been up all night doing whatever, and they're now tired again. They need to go to school. So you let them know when they come home, they have their dinner, they have an early night, so they're fresh for the following day. Again, it's not an excuse to not go to school. So it may mean that they've overslept. Maybe you go to work and your child makes their way to school themselves and they're late going to school because they're tired, they've overslept. That's fine, but they're still going. They still get to school. You may need to phone school and say they're on their way, they're going to be late. So again, it's better they're late than they're not go at all. So tiredness is not a reason for them not to go to school. Okay, this may sound like a funny one, but I'll go into it anyway. Unfulfilled promises. You've been telling your child you're going to do something for them, you're going to give something to them, you're going to do something with them, and you haven't done it. And the child wakes up one morning and just thinks, you know what, I ain't going to school today. I'm waiting for that thing. And they tell you, Dad, you promised me that you do this and we've not done it. So you may need to talk about when you're going to do that thing, when they're going to get that thing, what that thing is that they feel that is unfulfilled on your part. Okay, so an unfulfilled promise may make them think, make them just think towards school. So again, talk about it. And the last area I want to cover is your child feeling unwell. They wake up in the morning and they don't feel well. Okay, depending on the severity of the illness, they're still going to school. Your child shouldn't just wake up and with a running nose, a bit of a sniffle, and you say, okay, okay, stay in bed. No. send them to school. Unless you can clearly see there's something very, serious, that your child has a serious condition that will keep them off school, send them in. Them waking up saying that they don't feel like going to school because they don't feel well is not a reason for them not to go to school. And if they go to school, and when they go to school and they're still feeling unwell, and they're in class and they're feeling unwell, and they tell the teacher they're not feeling well, school will always call you. No school wants a sick child on their premises. They will call you and say, you know what, your son is not well. You need to come and get him. Or your daughter's feeling under the weather. You need to come and get her. Okay, so always send your children into school when they say they're not feeling well, unless you can clearly see that there's something very serious with their health, that they need to go to the doctors first. They need to go to hospital first. They need to, you need to address the illness before they go to school, because of course, if they're very ill, you're not going to send them in. But always send your children into school. So those are a few areas I've touched on why your child may wake up and not want to go to school, or come home from school and say they don't want to go to school tomorrow. So those are just a few areas. I hope that's helped. I just want to end by saying all parents can be great parents. It's a journey and we will get there. Thank you.